Today I'm having a conversation with Tom Wheeler. Tom is highly functional, highly productive, and frankly, I'm a little nosy about how he keeps his head on straight. I know for a fact that he and his partner run a real estate company. They manage multiple Airbnbs. He's the founder and executive director of Camden County Pride. They have a YouTube presence, and he's getting his MBA. Like, come on, Tom. I get tired just thinking about it. So, in this conversation, I'm going to ask Tom some really straightforward questions about how he's managing all of this for profit work, nonprofit work, professional development, and personal development work without crashing out. You can connect with Tom for real estate purposes at HomeFoundBoise.com. And I find that the easiest way to keep up with everything that Tom is doing is through the link tree on his Instagram account. That Insta is at ThomasWheeler266. Hey Tom, how you doing?
I'm back. It has been a little bit.
You're back!
It's been like, what, a couple years? At least 3-4 years now?
It has been. You're right to bring that up. I needed a break. I was tired.
Well,
it was like...
Talking about being busy, you stay busy.
It was podcast, TV show, running for city council, bought 2 houses, renovated. I was like, I need a break.
Yeah.
I do.
Well, it's that's one thing I can relate to for sure is we're high achievers. And so you are like, oh yes, I'll do that. Oh yes, I'll do that. And then you look at your plate and there's no room for anything. And you have to, especially for me this past year, I've really been conscious of what things can I really focus on and what things need to maybe take a back seat. Because I started in my real estate career at a young age, I was just used to being like, yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, I'll do that. And that's burnout, baby.
I forget how young you are. And so when you got the 30 under 30 for, was it Realtor Magazine?
Yeah.
This year, I was like, he is still under 30.
On my last leg, on the final
on
year.
his application.
they don't play, they verify. Yeah, and actually 30 under 30 I won when I was 27. I turned 29 this past summer and I'm on the last year of my 20s. But I'm an old soul. I felt like I'm in my, modest 30s for a while now.
Just keep saying that to us old folks over here. But you got your real estate business. I saw your Airbnbs on Instagram. Are you still doing those?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. It's at this point we have 6 doors and we actually today closed on a property to renovate and sell this spring.
Oh my gosh.
But
you're flipping now.
Yeah. So it kind of depends on the property. Like if it makes sense on paper to hold on to it and rent it, that's the goal. And there are properties where it just doesn't make sense with how expensive mortgages are with interest rates. Some of them just don't make sense to hold on to.
Oh my gosh. Incredible. I remember for the first set of Airbnbs, you were like designing and tiling them themselves. And so your Instagram was kind of like a lot of complaining.
Yeah. Yeah. I've blocked that out from my memory. It was crazy.
I imagine. You're not doing it like that anymore?
No, the project that you're speaking to, we documented on YouTube and we took 4 400 square foot units and completely gutted them into these cute little mid-century rentals, which we still have. And we played around with Airbnb and long-term, and the market in Boise's kind of shifted. There's been a lot of development of hotels and just a saturation of Airbnb. So we've kind of shifted more to long-term. Sure. But yeah, we didn't expect to be out there tiling, building a fence, laying pavers. Girl, it was a learning experience. I feel appreciative that I did that. And it was honestly like the most straight I've ever been was like laying tile and doing pavers. I'm like, wow, this is what it feels like to be straight. And I'm so glad that's
all they do.
Lay pavers and do tile. Yeah, so this project we're working on starting literally tomorrow will be mostly cosmetic, and luckily we're in a position to have professionals involved. So
yeah. I don't think I knew that you had put the other ones on YouTube. I've seen some recent YouTube stuff. You were y'all were doing like Boise market updates, I think, and then the channel switched to like Michael and Tom or something like that. Um, what's the plan for the YouTube? Because I feel like it stresses you out to do it, but you're so good on it.
Well, yeah, YouTube is one of those things. It feels like it's kind of like a newer frontier. I mean, people are on Instagram. I mean, it was like Facebook, Instagram. Now it's like, I mean, we never really got onto TikTok. I think we have a profile, but I never got too involved in TikTok beyond what's posted from what we do in other channels. And now it's like, let's create a YouTube channel. So we've had one for a while, and we've kind of had different iterations of what kind of content we bring to it. And my partner Michael is just gung ho for being on YouTube and monetizing in some capacity. So he hired a coach to kind of dial in what kind of message and what kind of content. Are you on YouTube as well?
Oh, you know, I stay busy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you
Yes,
also renovated a home. I mean, listen, or multiple. Didn't you do a couple?
Everybody don't need to know all my business, Tom.
Just my business.
Landlords are not popular in Minneapolis.
Yeah, no, it's true.
But yeah, we are responsible landlords. We've got a fourplex in Minneapolis, and then we bought the house across the driveway from us.
Oh, great!
And we've got a friend over there now, so just
Perfect.
5 doors for us.
Well, we also, that project that we renovated was a fourplex, and multifamily is really the way to go for like the highest ROI, and it gives you so much, it diversifies your risk because you have not one unit, you have options there. So I love that.
I agree. It's nice. And it's nice to be like to feel like a responsible landlord. We've got some older people there who are worried about being displaced when we bought the property. And we were like, no. Like, sign this long lease.
Yeah.
We're not kicking anybody out. We are going to fix things up. Like, there were raccoons living on the property.
Oh my God.
The raccoons are evicted. You get to
They
stay,
gotta go.
but the raccoons have to go.
Yeah. No, I love that. I think that's something that landlords do get a bad rap, and I feel like we get an opportunity to change the paradigm on that. And I feel like
that's true.
For better or for worse, I mean, I guess for my bottom line, it's not always the best for business. And like when a tenant has an issue with their lease or like making rent, I have the compassion to be like, hey, I get it. Whereas if you hire a company that is not messing around, it's a different experience. So I think that's something that is worth noting, that we have the privilege of being landlords and hopefully get to kind of shift the paradigm on that and make renting a little bit more doable for folks.
And I guess I did not appreciate how similar our tracks are, because you are the executive director of a nonprofit, and now I am also the executive director of a nonprofit. You've got Canyon County Pride. 2 years now you've thrown Pride there?
Yeah, we just had our second annual event this past June, and now we're going for year 3 come 2026.
Okay, I saw you did one billboard for 2025. You gonna do a skywriter for 2026?
It's so funny because year 1 it happened really quickly, 21 days, and the mayor in that area, which is about 30 minutes outside of Boise, very conservative, gun shops in every corner, 75% voted for Trump, and the mayor had made some negative comments towards us, having not met us. I think now after the fact she realized, like, well, that didn't help, because it helped our cause. A lot of folks felt passionate in her response, which was ultimately negative. And so my point in saying that is that year 1 we had all this publicity and all this buzz around the event, and so then year 2 I'm like, okay, what are we going to do to ruffle feathers, or in other words, start conversation? And so I'm like, a billboard would be great. I would love for, and what I envisioned for the billboard was like this young kid in the back of a pickup truck in Canyon County who looks out the window and sees a symbol that represents inclusivity and representation and safety, and maybe their parental figure driving the vehicle is, white knuckling the steering wheel because this pride flag is hoisted up on a billboard in Canyon County. So it didn't, honestly didn't actually garner as much attention as I'd like. So in 2026, we're looking at buying or renting a substantial more with higher
Yeah.
visibility. Just, let's start the conversation.
Okay, off the top of my head, maybe what happened is that the first year got so much buzz and publicity that the second year they're like, oh, what, one pride flag? Meh.
Yeah, it's true. I don't know if they just thought that if in year one they put up a big enough scare that we would just not do it.
Yeah.
And we're
You
here.
made things so inclusive that now you actually have to work harder.
Literally. And,
Yeah.
of course there were still protesters. Of course there was still pushback. But we had 4,000 people. It was a huge success.
Beautiful.
And we're excited to grow into the space that we moved to in that area. So tell me about the nonprofit you started, or that you're.
Oh, I didn't start it, actually. I have gotten to this point now where people seek me out on a pretty regular basis for something.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's political stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's like state advisory stuff. And this time it's a nonprofit called One Voice Mixed Chorus. They were established in 1987. It's like 125 singers. And they sing for social change. And at first I was like, oh, do I really have a tie to this? Does this make sense? But girl, I went to a performing arts high school. Yeah. I was in the Glee Club in college. I was like, I can hum a few bars.
Yeah. Well, and more importantly, like, what a great cause to be a part of.
Absolutely. And so I got there. I took a look at the books. I was like, oh, I know what to do with this. And so now we have a concert coming up in 10 days. And we've had to open up new sections of the theater because people are really excited about it. So things are going well, I would say.
I love that. I think that is another thing we have in common is that folks do. I mean, I'm in a kind of a unique place in Idaho where there's a lot of fear being LGBTQ, especially as you go outside of Boise. But I tend to get the texts and calls around. I mean, yesterday morning, there's a nonprofit here that serves the community of folks who are living with HIV, and their food shelf is run dry. And so I wake up to messages around how can we restock the food pantry. And what's unique about their need is that folks living with HIV require a really nutritious, balanced meal. And so they can't necessarily just get like a box of crackers, right? Like you have to have a really intentional nutritional diet when living with HIV. And so that's been like a project that we're jumping in on. And that's always so fulfilling.
Okay, well, what are you thinking? What are you thinking you're going to do?
Well, every quarter, HomeFound has committed to doing a give back project. And so most recently and actually the video just dropped on YouTube today of a family that we helped with their backyard needs. So basically we put a call out to our community and said, hey, we want to help a family in need with a backyard because like home is health, and how can we make a space more safe? And so a family was nominated, and that story is on YouTube. It was really exciting. So for this quarter, we knew we wanted to focus on food insecurity and, the timing with federal government throwing a party for their billionaire friends, but not feeding anyone. And just in general, like, it's like, okay, I guess we got to get together here and like us community organizers do and give back to those who really need it. And it's the holidays and, getting cooler. So
yeah. Exactly. You think about that same kid in the back of the truck looking at the flag. We don't want them to go hungry.
Period.
Even if their parents may or may not be jerks. We don't know.
Right.
We don't know. But
exactly.
Let's feed the children. But like, okay, the reason I reached out to you for a conversation is because of not just all of the things that you do, but like the way you balance the stress and everything with what you do, with like self-care. And I wasn't entirely sure how I was going to phrase it, but I was like, I was like, damn, Tom is always he's traveling, but traveling and like doing the spa. You one time you sent me some like yoga stuff that was a
Mhm.
practice, and I was like, what is Tom doing? I need to I need to sit him down and find out what this practice is, because it could be really beneficial for me when I'm busy, when I'm tired. Because my go tos when I'm stressed out are like I pace. I it's medicinal pacing
Yeah.
around the house. I'll get some junk food.
Hmm.
Love an excuse to have junk food.
Yeah.
Um, it used to be that I would go for the alcohol. I do the alcohol less now when I'm stressed. I'm proud of that. Um, but like, I don't have a practice for self care.
Yeah.
I do have friends who tell me I need to slow down, who tell me I need to take a break or whatever. And the idea of taking a break does not appeal to me.
Yeah.
But if I phrase it as doing something that is self care and that being beneficial, I think I would like. So I'm interested in your approach to self care, and if it's even on purpose.
Yeah, I think, well, I've always had an active lifestyle. I mean, like my family, I grew up, my parents would be like, we're going outside. And like, so I feel like I naturally would find stress relieving like activities being anything physical initially. So like
Mm,
I didn't see it as that, but like going to the gym or going to yoga. But as I become busier and as I've gotten older, I've realized like, oh, this isn't just like I need to go to the gym. It's like, what are
yeah.
some intentional practices? So I got into yoga probably 10, 12 years ago and just really loved the mindfulness of that. Initially I was like brought to it again for just like, oh, it'll be a good workout. And then very quickly realized there was the mindfulness element of it where you're being conscious of your breath and you're like also, not looking at your phone while you're doing it. Cause sometimes you go to the gym and you have your phone. And so you're
Mm,
like between sets, you're like emailing or you're texting. And you're like, did I even, first of
yeah.
all, I didn't really get a great workout and I'm no less relaxed because I was working the whole time. So I loved that
Yeah.
it was this class setting where like phones were left outside the room. And so yoga kind of led me to more meditation. And I would say meditation is the like essential element of my routine now. And I think when folks hear, oh, meditation, they think you have to sit in silence for like 6 hours. And the reality is like, it's so much more doable than that. So I started with a transcendental meditation training, which was super easy. It took like a day with this
Oh, okay.
interesting character. Her name's Teo. And basically, transcendental meditation is a mantra meditation where you are given a mantra. It's basically a word, and then you're in silence repeating that word in your mind so that your mind has something to focus on versus like trying to sit there in silence. And so that's practice 20 minutes a day, one session in the morning
Oh,
and one session in the afternoon. So 20 minutes is pretty accessible, I would say, for most folks. I heard a meditation guide say that if you're too busy for 20 minutes, you should be meditating for much more than 20 minutes. But
oh, really? Okay.
yeah, but like 20 minutes, I get up, I sit down. It's my mind's like not, you know, already into different things. Like it's my most fresh kind
Sure.
of place. I meditate for 20 minutes. And then that's when I will kind of jump into things. But I definitely carve out a practice before I start the day to get grounded, be present, because otherwise, like if I jump into something too soon, which happens because things happen, I find that that day I'm just more scrambled and less grounded. So I would say meditation is a big one, and it's not like I get it
So,
every day, but I try to.
well, all right. Hold on. I have questions. So, meditation, I love. Um, I'm assuming the yoga that brought you to meditation was not like yoga sculpt. It was kind of like classic old school yoga.
Yeah, there's a
Because
few
my
different.
husband says he's going to yoga, but he's basically doing aerobics. You
It's
know,
true. Like
it's not,
the
not the
lifetime
same
sculpt
thing.
yoga is not necessarily like. I mean, it's sure it's yoga. There's some yoga poses, but it's not like
It's
your
not the
traditional
yoga
one.
that will bring you to meditation. I would
Yes.
say. I would say.
Yeah.
And then who introduced you to this meditator?
Well, I'd always been like interested in mindfulness, and I had, prior
Okay.
to learning transcendental meditation, was listening to like basically soundscapes or ambient sound and kind of just sitting in silence. So this was like kind of a journey, and then I don't know, someone was just like, "Oh, have you heard of transcendental meditation? There's this gal named Teo, and it doesn't take long." And um, so that
So
was,
you were trying to do it on your own,
yeah,
and then you brought in a coach,
yeah. I
kind of
just kind of
like with
plateaued.
the YouTube, and kind of like with the houses.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, find an expert in that field, right? And so that definitely helped like level up that experience. And then more recently have gotten into Joe Dispenza. I don't know if you've ever heard of Joe Dispenza. He's kind of a well-known.
No, you're not to me.
You've heard of Tony Robbins. Okay,
Yes.
so it's
Yes, I
kind of
have.
like he's kind of like the meditation guru, equivalent to Tony Robbins. Like Tony Robbins is like
Okay.
all about like, rah change your state. But Joe
Yeah.
Dispenza is a really cool neuroscientist who successfully, in my mind, bridges the neuroscience of what happens in your mind when you're meditating and the spiritual experience of it. So it's more accessible for those folks who are like more type A, like, well, what does this do? Joe Dispenza is great.
Yeah. Oh, noted. Okay. Now, are you spiritual?
Yeah, I would say I'm pretty spiritual. I have always felt spiritual. And what I mean by that is just like I mean, what led me to get into my real estate career at a young age was just kind of feeling, I guess it originated from coming out and being
Hmm.
gay in a like heteronormative society. It kind of gave me a glimpse into the flip side of the coin, or like what there's got to be more out here. And I think that's where my spiritual journey began, because I remember consciously making a choice when I was outed in high school of like, I can either live my life being upset about this, or I can like try to find a way to be positive. And I just remember that experience of making a conscious choice mindset wise, and that kind of
Yeah.
began my my more conscious spiritual experience.
So when you are getting up in the morning and you've chosen your word and you're meditating, um, do you feel more connected to that spirituality in that time, or is that like a separate and distinct practice that you have?
It is kind of like it's chipping away at it in small bits over time. So I don't know who speaks about this concept of having 126 bits. So basically the unconscious mind takes in like millions of bits of information, but the conscious mind
Yeah.
can only handle about 126 bits of all that information. And so this idea of which 126 bits are you picking to focus on will more or less create your reality.
Oh,
And so the practice in the morning of meditating, I've journaled for a really long time, just kind of like free form, not like really anything prompt wise, but just like kind of what's going on. It allowed me to like dump things out of kind of my like things I was kind of couldn't let go of, or were just were bothering me. I'd like kind of journal it, but I'd always end that practice
yeah.
with a gratitude practice. And doing all those things, you know I think sets you up to be conscious of the 126 bits you're picking as you start the day. And also being aware of like, oh, like I stubbed my toe, and so now I'm kind of like and then I spilled my coffee, and then and your day just kind of goes in that direction. Sometimes it's
Yeah.
inevitable,
Yeah.
but being aware of like, okay, I'm gonna pick a new 126 and focus on some positive things. That's been helpful.
That's a great way to like structure it, because I am pretty good at recognizing that I don't want to think about something. I'm like, I don't want to think about that because it's bad for me or it's not good. Not because I'm trying to avoid it, but because it's literally like not something I need in my brain. But I am not structured in a practice of being like, what I need to be paying attention to is this list of 126 things. You can just like pick one or whatever.
Hmm.
And instead I'm like, just miss me with that.
Yeah.
And then, you know what I'll say? I'll say, miss me with that. And then I'll pick up my phone and I'll scroll and to the next thing that I want to just like have dismissed. It's almost like maybe I'm getting like a dopamine hit from like rejecting things instead of just consciously finding the good stuff that I should be focusing on.
Yeah, and
It's
I've been
fascinating.
taking more social media cleanses too, because what I would realize is
That's right. You did do that.
I took like a 30-day recently, but like when you're scrolling, your like subconscious mind is picking some things up, and then you like put it away, and then you don't realize like I just saw something. I can't consciously recall what I saw, especially now on like
Yeah.
any form of social media. But it triggers you in some capacity that you can't recall consciously, and then you're in this sort of space that you have to shake. And so Joe Dispenza says, "Change your energy, change your life." And Tony Robbins says change your state. A lot of like these
Mm,
gurus talk about like when you, let's say you're picking up, a negative 126 because something happened and now you're just like going down that path. um like you have to change your state to reset it. And so meditation for me is that reset button. Like when I sit down, especially in the afternoon, I sit down and it's like kind of a reset, because whatever was happening up
yeah.
until that point, and the afternoon's a funny part in the day because you have like, I have my morning meditation and then things happen throughout the kind of day. And then I get to about this time of the day, 2, 3 p.m. And I'm like, okay, reset. And then whatever I was previously kind of anxious about or like thinking about or occupied with, once I've meditated or changed the state, then I come out of that
Yeah.
meditation. I'm like, oh, whatever I was just worried about was not actually that big of a deal. And I can reset and finish the day with a little bit like more presence.
Do you? Okay, I'm thinking of like many different things at the same time. One of the things is that I missed you when you took that cleanse off of Instagram. And I was like, where is Tom? Because Tom posts things to Instagram that I'm not trying to get rid of. I'm like, Tom is putting good stuff on there. I'm like, where's the good stuff?
Yeah, it's
And
funny. A
so
few
it makes
people
me laugh that
texted
you're
me.
like, yeah. Oh, really?
You and a few other folks were like, "Hey, everything good?" And I'm like, "Oh, this is real," because it was 30 days, so it was long. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, people notice. I mean, but at the same time, like hearing that, hearing what you're doing and why you left, I'm like, well, don't come back. Never mind. Like you're doing good things for you. Do that.
Yeah, it was
We will
really
figure ourselves
refreshing.
out.
It was refreshing. I definitely
Good.
recommend it. And sometimes too, I'll delete just like Instagram app for like a few days at a time. Obviously, it doesn't delete the account, but I did do 30 days, and that was really refreshing. And I felt like kind of reset my like serotonin receptors.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, that's fantastic.
but I do love to travel, and I
Um,
do love a good spa.
I know you do because when you came back or when I texted you, I think you're like I'm in Hawaii at a spiritual retreat or something, and I'm like, I love it. I love it. Please tell me everything about it. Um, how did that happen? Let's just get right into it. What the heck?
Yeah. Well, so my partner is celebrating a birthday in September and was like, let's go to this spiritual retreat. And it was all about these ancient Hawaiian practices for healing and
Hmm.
spirituality. And I'd never been to Hawaii. So I was like, what better way to experience Hawaii than to go be in this all in spiritual conference taught by traditional Hawaiian kumus. And the
Wow.
resort we were staying at, we woke up a few mornings at like 5 a.m. and there was this traditional Hawaiian woman like chanting the sun up. Like it was just really, really cool. And um, so we carve out times kind of in a quarterly basis to reset. And this was definitely one of them.
Oh,
It was great.
a quarterly reset. Was not aware. I think it's also interesting that you and Michael are both in that together. Because Aaron and I are like, I don't know. If you're into astrology, it's
Yeah.
like we are both Sagittarius
Yeah.
and we like our own time. I'm not super into it, but this is how it's been explained to me.
Yeah.
So the why of
Yeah.
that.
Fire sign.
Um, yeah. And so I'm like, yeah, I would love to go to Hawaii and do that alone.
Well, what's unique for us is because we work together, we're like, okay, we have, and that's been, I mean, that could be home of the podcast, is working with your partner.
Sure.
But we've developed a lot better boundaries working together. And the beauty of that is that we can both take time off. And so, yeah, I mean, it's maybe not for everyone. And the conference itself, I mean, we were like kind of broken out and stuff. It wasn't like we were in it together, but it was also fun that he and I both learned some of these techniques and some of these practices. We come back home and we're like, oh, Ho'oponopono. Like, did you do Ho'oponopono? Which is an amazing, you can find it on YouTube. It's this traditional forgiveness ceremony that folks in Hawaii ancient Hawaiians have been doing for ever. And you basically visualize, and it's guided online. I could send it to you and you could share with whoever. I swear by it, but you basically close your eyes and you visualize a stage in front of you, and you bring on these folks onto the stage who you've come in contact with spiritually, emotionally, mentally, and it's folks who you want to forgive or you want to like kind of clear the energy with. So you visualize the stage and then you invite these folks onto the stage and you kind of allow your unconscious mind to just like come up with whoever it's going to be. And then there's this practice of, forgiving them. I forgive you, you forgive me, and this whole thing. And it's surprisingly effective. It's very simple, but it's one of the tools that we learned from that experience and that we use here because the nature of our work, it's like, I forgive you. Free myself of the burden of like just whatever energy I have by forgiving. So it's cool.
Okay, so this is way more structured than I was anticipating, but I love it. So you got quarterly. You've made the decision that quarterly you will do something to reset. How far ahead of time are you making these decisions? And like, have you already planned out what your next one's going to be and what you'll be studying? And you're like 2026 is my year of this, and this,
Yeah. Well, in 2026, I definitely want to do a Joe Dispenza conference because I've gotten into that.
Yeah.
We don't necessarily always have a retreat, or sometimes it's just like, hey, the mountains are calling. There's this saying in Idaho, like the mountains are calling, and it's kind of funny because it's a thing.
Oh, okay.
Like you just get this sense to disconnect and go into the mountains, and we can do that here. So for example, the week before Christmas, we're going to go up to Sun Valley and like, I'm going to ski and hang out, and Michael doesn't ski. So he'll be at like the spa, but so it doesn't necessarily always have to look like a structured thing. But sometimes it looks like just getting away, because for us, being in the nature of our work, when we're here in Boise, we tend to just like be working, and working, like work is such a convoluted word because, and I know you can relate to this, like we wear many different hats. And so I have another practice is like, I don't charge my phone in my bedroom. And I also try to consciously like plug it in or put it away around like 8. And just kind of like, because otherwise you're like, I'm not really working, but someone's messaging me about this, or I'm like planning that. Yeah. And so intentionally disconnecting. So sometimes it just like looks like getting away. So
I have also noticed you and your phone.
Yeah, I know. It's.
I'm like, is he gonna read this text or what?
I know. Well, it's something that, like it's in.
Don't do it.
Someone told me a while back, they're like, it's instant messaging, not instant responding. And
legit.
I try to. I think there's a balance in that. Like I try to be responsive when I can, and sometimes I'm like, oh, I gotta get so.
Yeah. You are doing such wonderful things. Please continue to do the wonderful things. I think I can contrast this with like my 20s, when if I texted someone and they didn't text back, like I knew they were just at a bar. I knew they were just like up to shenanigans or whatever. Like put your drink down for a second and answer your text.
Right.
You stay meditating. You keep the phone in the other room.
Sometimes it is
I
that,
support
though.
all of this.
Sometimes it is that,
Oh, yeah. Okay, actually, this is a good segue. Let me hit this button. I sent you a gift because I saw one of your reels with Michael talking about your life at the office or whatever. And I was like, oh, okay, okay, I'm getting a vibe. And so I went out shopping and I got you two small things. Did you get the package?
I did, and it's funny because I got a notification. It was like UPS is scheduled to deliver. I'm like, what did I get? So it was very
What did
exciting.
I order? Yeah.
But I want to show
Well,
you a
go get it.
gift. I
Go
want to
get
show
it.
you a gift before I open your gift. I guess this was a
Oh.
gift you gave back. You gave to me
Oh my God.
on our first. Yeah, this is an
Wow.
OG bottomless coffee mug,
Oh my
and
gosh. Yes.
so had to show you that. That's
Oh,
OG.
incredible.
But I did get the box, and as promised, I didn't open it. And it's hilarious because when it
Thank
was
you.
at the doorstep, Michael's like, "What did you get?" I'm like, "You can't open that." And he's like, "Well, what do you
No,
mean?"
no, no. You seemed like the kind of person that used to like sneak gifts or whatever. And so I
Oh,
sent you
that's
an
definitely
extra
Michael.
message.
That's definitely Michael. But
Oh,
it's
is
true.
it? Okay,
If you
okay.
wouldn't have told me, I would have just opened it because I do love a good package moment. So let's see what we got
Okay.
here.
So in the reel, you were like, I just like to go to the office and flirt or whatever. And so I was like, okay, let me get him a little something, a little flirty tool.
Oh my God. Amazing. Let's see here.
And you'll know which one is that one. And then I thought, I wasn't sure about how you decompressed. And I was like, well, let me get him a little something that may or may not help. And if it doesn't help, it can be a gift for someone else.
Okay, amazing. It is funny when I go to the office, like I am definitely kind of a butterfly in that way where like I can't sit still for too long. So I'm like,
yeah.
If you're making me come to a meeting, my attention span, so let's see.
The reels do make you look unprofessional.
Yeah, I'm like, I definitely don't take things too seriously. Oh, look at this. A little cologne. We love that.
I thought you might like scents. It seemed like something you'd be into.
Yes, I always have candles flowing, and
I thought so.
barrel and oak.
I was like, she likes a candle. She takes a bath. She likes a candle.
It's
I was
true.
looking for a nice one for that experience, and I couldn't find it. If you don't like the smell, just give it away. That's what I say.
Oh my gosh, this is delicious. Amazing.
It's not a commercial, Tom. You don't well, you don't have
it's fantastic. Okay, the other one is a micro penis mug. Oh my God.
Yes. I was like, this is cute. He can just have it, and like the rare person will notice what it actually is.
That is well, look, now I have my two favorite coffee mugs.
That's true. Okay, good.
Well, thank you so much. That is so sweet. I'm gonna have to send you a little gift now.
Oh shit. Okay. That's exciting.
I don't know what kind of gifts you like.
Hello. I am always very straightforward in my request for gifts.
Love it. Well, you got. I mean, listen, it's that time of year. Holidays are rolling around, and you got to like let people know what you want, right? Otherwise, you get like something that you're like, oh, this is great. So I think it's good to know.
Yeah. Ooh, another pair of socks.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks.
Well, thank you so much. This is so great. I mean, this is hilarious. So got my goodies.
I thought so. Okay. Every now and then, we're trying this. This is new. The guest gets to ask me a question. We've done it a couple of times, and I'm always a little like, oh, I'm sketched out. I don't know how you sit in that guest chair like so well. But Tom, do you have? I'm already like nervously picking up my nails. Do you have a question you would like to ask me?
I do. You know, we're at this point in the year where we're concluding 2025. So I'm dying to know what you're most excited about for 2026.
Oh my gosh. Excited about is a particular phrase because I feel like I have a list of things I need to do. I'm like, I don't care when it gets done, but like these are the things that need to happen. But we are going to take a lovely vacation in 2026 that will be necessarily away from the properties, away from the computer, away from the nonprofit. Aaron wants to go to central France. He wants to stay in a castle, and he wants to visit the vineyards in the area. And I said, okay, we can be aligned on all of those things. That sounds really fun.
I
You don't
love
have to take that
that.
vacation
That's super
solo.
exciting.
I think so too. I think so too. We both speak a little bit of French. I used to be way better back in the day, so that'll be something for me to study, which I think will be really fun going into it.
Yeah.
And um, I I'm excited for the travel. I'm excited to make my husband happy. You know what I mean? He's a good
Uh,
man. He does good things. I do
uh,
think I do think we were just in France like last year or the year before. There are other places. There are other castles.
well, do what you love.
Well, I prefer Italian wine to French wine
Mm.
sometimes, so we could go there. Um, but I think we're gonna have a wonderful time, and I can definitely be excited about that. What about you,
I think
though?
it's I think it's good to be excited about something, especially in these times. So
These
I love that.
times.
Yeah, it's weird times. We're in like the dark ages. What am I looking forward to in 2026?
Oh, I feel like I also have to mention a wedding I'm going to in May in Sonoma. I
Oh,
feel like he might be a bit of a bridezilla if I don't mention his wedding. I'll hear about it. So I'm
so
excited about
basically,
that
there
too.
needs to be wine. There needs to be wine
Yeah, I don't.
for.
Yeah, okay. So I don't drink as much alcohol as I used to, but I like wine
Yeah,
because I know what I'm getting. Like if I
yeah,
go out to the bar, some man thinks he's doing me a favor by pouring me like the strongest drink I've ever had. I'm like, ugh, I don't
yeah.
need all this. But wine,
Well,
I'm
and
like,
good wine, you just can't beat, especially if you're in Europe. I mean,
yeah,
the wine in Europe is just different. I
yeah,
swear.
yeah. So it's fine. I
I'm
trust
trying to think
wine.
of
Wine's
what.
my good friend.
Well, yeah, and to your point, you really can't go wrong. I mean, yeah, you go to a gay bar and get like a super strong drink. It's like, ooh,
Oh my god, I do not get the wine at gay bars though. I don't understand where we went wrong as a people with the wines in gay bars. Like why is it shit wine? I don't understand.
because they just want you to serve you like a double vodka soda.
I
It's like,
yeah, they do. They
mm,
do. But like
we
open
remember
up
those days.
open up a
Remember
little bottle.
Pensacola, girl? We used to be them girls. Now we're
Oh,
different.
see. Oh, now you're bringing up old stuff.
Hmm. That was probably 10 years ago. We weren't drinking
I
wine then.
You say used to be those girls. I could be those that same girl with like one shot and a speedo.
That's all it takes. Yeah.
As
Oh
opposed to
my
before
gosh.
when it was like 18 shots and nothing.
Unhinged. I know. Crazy. I'm trying to think. For 2026, I'm definitely excited about completing my MBA program. I
Oh
started an MBA program
yes.
at this point, like over a year ago, and it concludes May of 2026. And then I throw Canyon County Pride June of 2026.
Oh my
And
gosh.
then
Okay.
I celebrate my Dirty 30 in I was gonna say Pensacola, in Provincetown in July 2026.
Oh, I would come to that.
I'll send you the dates. It's my
Please
birthday's
do.
the 5th of July. So it's gonna be a fun like fourth weekend in
Yeah,
P Town, and
I was just there a couple of months ago. I love P Town. It's
oh, it's
fabulous.
the best. We were thinking Fire Island, but like Fire Island is hard to get to. There's only one restaurant. You have to spend like
It's
30K to have a house
so
there.
much
It's
money. Yeah.
not worth it. So, I mean, I'd love to go someday, but I also don't love the idea of being trapped on an island and not having like
Mm.
options. The thing about P Town, you can go to a show, you can go to dinner, you can go to the beach, you can chill out.
You
Like,
can stay home. Yes.
yeah. So, I think I'm looking forward to that. Spring 2026, spring, summer 2026 is going to be fun. And I'm excited about it.
And the midterms. It'll be great.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I was like looking at a Washington Post article about like the contending Democratic nominees. I'm just like, oh my God, what's going to happen? Crazy.
We'll see. You know what? Pete's doing very well in the polls right now. So I would
Fuck Pete.
donate. Pete can
Same.
come on the podcast.
Let's have him.
Let's have him. He would go to Boise for sure. Like he was really good at doing stuff like a little bit outside of the norm, outside of the normal inner circles.
Yeah, Idaho's just one of those states where like, it's super majority Republican Senate. That's just been the case forever. And But
Sure.
we do have like, really devoted, strong-willed Dems here. It's just we're outnumbered.
Well,
So
we used to, as Democrats, we used to have a 50-state strategy where we engaged in every single state. And, just because there are a lot of people who feel aligned with the Republican Party now doesn't mean that that'll be the case in the future. And
mhm.
especially if we're not there, like espousing our values, like how are we ever going to change hearts or minds? So,
Yeah, yeah.
who's to say?
Out here doing the work.
And if he's running for president of the United States, that includes Iowa, so he should go.
Idaho.
Idaho. Exactly. Well,
Come visit, Pete.
Tom, thank you so much for taking the time. As we talked about, she's busy. She's got stuff going on. I really appreciate it. And it sounds like you've got a lot of stuff coming up. So I hope you'll come back at some point in the future too.
I will. And now I'll have multiple mugs to keep as keepsakes from our time together. It's always so fun to catch up. And as you mentioned, like we really do have a lot of kind of similar things
I
going on. I know
know.
you're also busy, and I appreciate you reaching out, and looking forward to catching you maybe in P-Town summer 2026.
Maybe so. I'm down. I'll do it. Okay. Yeah. Bye. Okay. I said we were going to get some practical tips on how to not crash out, and I think we got those. A lot of this conversation was at the intersection of high performance and mindfulness, and I thought that was really interesting because I've never really given mindfulness a try. How about you? If you've got a mindfulness practice or if you know some mindfulness experts that we should look into, please go ahead and drop that info in the comments. I am personally reading and responding to all of the comments, checking those likes, and investing in the show based on your feedback. And hey, if you want more content like this in your YouTube feed, then please go ahead and subscribe. Thank you so much for joining in, and thank you, Tom, for being such a great guest.